Next speaker is Ara Manoogian, and it's the last card I have at this time. Mr. Manoogian, when you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council members. Ara Manoogian, Burbank resident, business owner, and a voter. We voted today for various things that will have an effect on our city. And today I want to bring to your attention the subject which I've brought to your attention a number of times in the last month. And Mr. Mayor, you gave me a homework assignment, which I hope that I have started and I'm going in the right direction. You had asked the question of, I don't see how a war in another country affects the city of Burbank and city business. So today I hope that I can touch on that. And what I've brought for you today is a document which shows how much of our federal dollars are spent and where. And this one specifically talks about education. This is a subject which is very near and dear to me because, as you know, I have a son, Alex, who's 6.5 years old. He's with us tonight. He's over my shoulder there on the monitor. And Alex had a somewhat uncomfortable experience at public school. And he was going to Miller Elementary School on Providencia, and Judy Hessian, a wonderful principal, a wonderful educator who's been with the Burbank Unified School District for a number of years, tried to do everything she could to help Alex. And Alex's problem isn't that he's a special ed kid. Alex's problem is that he has an IQ of 138, which we learned because of this whole experience with the school and how he was being dumbed down. And unfortunately, what the principal told us, Mrs. Hessian told us, is that once upon a time we had so much money, we didn't know what to do with it. But today, we don't have money for gifted. The only thing we have is we have an enrichment program, but that doesn't start until 4th grade. So when Alex started at school, he was complaining about how he was learning the ABCs all over again, colors, shapes, and so on. And then around the 4th week, he said, "Dad, don't worry about it." And because I was trying to get him moved up into a higher grade level that was more appropriate, because they tested him and he was already basically completing 2nd grade and he had just started kindergarten. And they said, due to social reasons, due to all these other reasons, we can't move him up other than put him in a K1 class. That's as high as we can take him. And I contacted Larry Applebaum, the president of the school board, who unfortunately never got back to me. He knew what I wanted to talk to him about. I've known Larry for a while on other issues regarding the school board and discriminated against immigrants and so on, which because of our interaction, we became close. And to make a long story short, I want to get to the federal budget here. So wars that are going on in the world and things related to defense, depending on how you look at the numbers, constitute up to 53 cents on every federal tax dollar. 53 cents. And schools, again, depending on how you look at the numbers, and you can look at the numbers on this document I presented to you, is between 4 cents and 6 cents of every federal dollar. Tonight, all I heard while I was watching City Council meeting at home is us belly aching about all these hikes in prices and so on and so forth. And the city of Burbank, if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, spends money to have lobbyists get us money from Washington to our different programs. Well, the reality is there's not a lot of money to be had based on the current climate and atmosphere and the way that our budget is being spent. So you ask, how does a war in Syria, as a war in Iraq has taken place and so on, how does it affect us? It affects all of us. Not only is it morally wrong, but economically it's also a big problem for us, which we really should address, and we should understand how is our money being spent? Because at the end of the day, we have our representative, who today is a candidate for the primaries, who I didn't vote for, Adam Schiff. He has been pushing us into wars since he's been in office. The bombing of Syria because of weapons of mass destruction. No weapons of mass destruction found. Oops, sorry. Libya. We've been overthrowing governments, and as you saw on my last presentation that we had, we showed Wesley Clark, the 4-star general, who said it was all planned out, and it's been planned out for years. So I again come back to the city and say, City, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, what can we do to educate our people? Because this is really affecting what you're doing too. You don't have any money. And going back to schools, when Alex started school, I think we did 3 fundraisers in a month because there's no money. So they're sending our kids out to go beg for money from the community, where if federal dollars were properly spent, we would be getting a lot more money, and our lobbying dollars that we are spending today would make much more sense and would get us a higher yield. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Manoogian. Mr. Manoogian, thank you for coming home. You did a good homework assignment. I could see the connection, and I appreciate that effort. Your concerns are noted, and we will be more aware of that, I suspect, in the future.